Hello and welcome. Time of the recording is that of 12:54 p.m. Eastern Time, and the date January the 28th, 2021. My name is Derek, and this is the Money Charts channel, where, like always, all bets, trades, and of the like within each's own risk and their own reward. A descending triangle in a bullish atmosphere is how I'm looking at this via the 4-hour term time frame. $30,000 area was liftoff support around the 3rd and 4th of January. And then after it approached or reached its last all-time high after the first week ended, it approached down towards, appears above 30K, and did so on the 11th of January. Piercing extra, it did so again on the 21st. And it rallied up to this point, but making a couple higher lows, establishing big support at 31,100 and change. And it failed breakout. But what happened after the failed breakout? Well, it came down and it corrected a bit within 18, but now it broke down and retested again at 30, except for it retested it again, supporting this time, just like last, 29,000 low change. It has now since been in this correctionary 18 average phase from the low for 5 periods. It maintained itself within it, from 15 stamp, the red one, then this nice green one up, then the 2 sideways ones, and then this one that made it to the highs, and now this one currently, halfway through it, is attempting to leave the 18 like it attempted it back in here, like it attempted it back here, like it attempted it back in here on January the 13th, like it attempted it back in here on January the 5th, like it attempted it here, and so many of these other times. It needs to get and hold and stay above it to be that in a bear market. A bull market needs to stay below it for a bear market, and what it's done for that, and I said that because I was transitioning into it, well, what have we been doing? Resisting 34,800 was support. Okay. Twice really resisting it. And then we can see we had this support in here at around 31,400. But what I like about this, and it's not much data, but during the sideways consolidation, that's where it resisted this level of support, but it didn't go down. Now it's broken that level. So it's a possibility for it to go up. The trend of this market is higher. So therefore, the buyers long term are in control. They're trying to hold on within the daily term. As the 18, which was an amazing uptrend from 10,000 up to over 40, beautiful 4x gain without price action even going below it. Well, it has now been below it, but all it's done is establish that support at 30. So can it hold and stay within the 18? Question mark. Time will only tell. It's got to get above it, which is well more than 10% further from here, closer to 20%, closer to 40,000, for you to say, okay, yep, this thing is like, if you say go to 40, then just like you have like it's probably going to be at like 50, 60 fast, just like you've seen in here. It goes up to like 22 fast. Look at it, it's like 28, 30, 40 kind of deal. Those moves, when you get in a breakout extension, can just be fantastic. Okay. Therefore, the daily chart trying to go down, but on the weekly chart, market's still nicely overextended, but not majorly overextended or well overextended. Maybe a little well overextended here, but it's corrected a bit to void that, to just be an overextended. In fact, it's pretty much in a official correctionary phase within just a little bit of price, or next week the 18 average should reach up and come up to like over 30,000. And you have these correctionary, like just even the little ones in here, like this goes up in here, and then this like a little one from like November, the end of November, started December, and then it has its move. And then you can see the same thing here. If you can break on any bullish trend above those resistance, as shown again on the daily, when it shows strength above here at like 40, well, what would the 40 show on the weekly? Well, the 40 would show this at the upper end of this range, and would be looking to be in just a great situation. And this thing is still live for a while. This is in a great breakout phase. It left the 18 average in October. It got above previous all-time high, and was not resistance. Now we were looking for a decent sized break higher. 40,000 is it's a decent move, but yeah. I mean, last time it went from like 1,100 to 20. So we'll see what the capabilities of this one is. So that is a cryptocurrency analysis. Let's move on to silver. And it's having a very volatile day today. And it's interesting because for what I watch, my eyes, that is, like everyone else has eyes and they watch stuff on TV and YouTube and video screens. I don't watch other people that do charts. Very hardly much at all. The only people that I really listen to that talk about cryptos that I regularly, and even then I watch just barely, subscribe to would be Samantha Jane for cryptocurrencies. I like to watch video game stuff, very little bits here and there. I'm a big fan of, and this has nothing to do with this, but I like the video game nerd shows, but I also like the NES Punk, his podcast, and Ian, they do a show there, and I watch sports all the time. I watch hockey, I watch football, and the time I'll watch maybe a TV show or a movie, but that is very rare. And as far as economic stuff is concerned, heck, I mean, yeah, when Mike Maloney puts stuff out, yeah, I'll tend to watch that and here and there. But even then, I'm not watching as much. I think I'm just hearing some weird stuff going on with one of the other channels that I'm watching, which is Wager Talk TV. You can watch the 12 o'clock show that was on TV. My name's referenced in there a little bit. And I do talk in the live replay chat. You might see there as well. They're talking about my favorite subjects, like investing, cryptocurrencies, hedge funds and stock markets, and how all these, and how a gaming stock is going so up and all these things. And it's okay, this my portfolios and stuff like that. That's just what I like to talk about. But yeah, why had this move today? I don't know. Decent volume that came in. It was there some sort of Fed news or whatever? Maybe. But price action having a fantastic move from basically 25 up to 27, gaining near that of 10% in a little over an hour. On the single hour term, we can see it's been making these pattern of lower highs, lower lows, something similar to what Bitcoin's been doing, the descending triangle, to a degree, because it's not really, I guess it had support at, between 25.25 and 25.05 or so, with a couple failed breaks down here. But yeah, there's a downtrend. There's a sideways line that you would put in. And you can even say it was a failed breakdown before the move higher. So it's gotten above this level of resistance. Now it's at that area where I'd be saying, I'm going to look at it for support if I get a nice break above it. Well, it had a nice break above it. I'm looking for that support. I see it as that potential level of support right now. So I know it's either the real move or failed move. It's so obvious. And if this thing fails to hold like 61.8% from, I guess you'd use it from this low. So if it fails to hold around 25 mid-change, that's a pretty weak move. And I'd be looking for this to at least go down to like 24. But that's if that happens, of course. Because key move, big move up, consolidate through price or time. And this is more of a price correction. And then you make your higher low, you consolidate within your correctionary phase, because I talk about the Fibonacci from this low to this high. Well, now intramove, you got Fibonacci from this high to whatever this low happens to be, currently set in at, well, the low intramove is 25.82 or $25.82, and the intraday high right now on this exchange is $27.10. 4-hour term time frame, long consolidation in here. We have, again, lots. This is going back to when this thing first went down at the start of the year. And now it's gotten above this resistance first time, and it's pretty much at that major pre-level of resistance as well, or what I would say should be resistance or previous support, and it is. It has been resistance. So big resistance in there of where we came from. Now we're support for where we came from. And if it can just range within this move for like 20 or 30 periods, 5-7 periods, that would be so fantastic as a good setup. It's just a hold and stay as support, in which used to be resistance. Still very, very choppy amongst the daily term, but the choppiness is a sideways consolidation in here. The support of this level is 22. The resistance, it hasn't been hit too much, but like 29 high change. And we had this next move here at 28, so we can now make the range from like 28 to 29 or 30, really. So 28 to 30 is the range of the upper end, which spent like no time trading above. And as long as, and that's like the lower end of like the resistance point, which is from here to here. And then the support, I guess you can go from fib down to 22, I suppose, or from like, fib to 22, almost a perfect hit here and here. But it's held the move from last year's low of like 11, 12 that pretty much tripled. Almost as good as Bitcoin, but hey, pretty darn near good as well. 2.7, 2.8x. And it's actually Bitcoin's more like a 10x move from its low of 4,000. But anyway, we'll forget about that for now because Bitcoin is extremely volatile. But until it's not in the sideways range, it will be in the sideways range. And when it is in the sideways range, again, the range is between 22 and about 30. So it's pretty much stuck in the middle-ish or so of it as it is to a degree. I mean, it spent the first part of it and little bits of it, we'll say from start of August until the start of September, mid-September, the upper end. Then from like September 23rd to that of December 15th in this range, this box in here. And then from that point on, it's been in, well, we can see that, the range from here to here has been like resistance 24.85-ish and then support at like 22.25. Since then, support is about 20.45, which was resistance, and resistance is 27.50. So maybe we can see support at around 26 area here and then resistance up towards that point for several days to continue the range and maybe build an uptrend line with this low, meaning make up a high to maybe realistically previous high, and then when it pulls back, maybe pull back that would meet up with this trend line. Maybe you can make other trend lines connecting. I mean, you had this trend line here. Here's a spot where if you connect the trend lines with this low, this low, this low, obviously it's broken, but that's a case where the rate of ascent has slowed / market's just going neutral because no break of descent has come into play. Again, I like how this market has been holding the move. Within the weekly chart, though, it's been, I mean, this is where the setup looks, okay, wow, interesting, because low to high, Fibonacci, 23.6 down, 38.2% down. Didn't even go down to 38.2. That's super strong, the fact that it didn't do that. Monster support has been engaging within this. But I like how it's been, instead of rather supporting the 18 average is low as well, but supporting the Fibonacci, I see how it's doing more resisting amongst this upper end and like and not spending hardly if any time at the low 18 lows at the Fibonacci. Again, more showing support where resistance used to be. And it had its attempt to break out at the end of December, start of the year, but it didn't do it. So it's trying to make another attempt. It's barely gotten above the highs, but definitely a lot of progressive statements that is playing within this market. And for this, I want to, is this the, this is exchange I want because I want the old data. Everyone a lot of people seem to like this cup and handle formation. I'm one as well. Big move higher. I mean, when you look at it, price action, one large leg, correction or sideways correction. Large leg, and that was it. And the price went from $1 and change to about 50, and then retracing 61.8% and a monstrous retracement, especially when you consider what it's up against, meaning everything else in the market, everything that trades against the dollar, all gold, all the stocks and everything. And people have stated silver's like one of the most manipulated markets that are out there. And this could just be saying why it is so, because if it wasn't, then we wouldn't have been talking about how, yeah, we reached all-time highs back in 2011. And now we're trying to reach those twice hit all-time highs. I mean, silver's only down about 40-something% from early January 1980. Or from this time right now. And so in the last 31 or so years, it's down just a bit. You shouldn't be saying that. That's just something you shouldn't say. Not for an asset class that has not got destroyed in value, let alone holding or at least holding on to its value. And heck, a lot of people can say it's increased in value. Maybe not exactly from, like some people say, like it was at such a high point that it was so overvalued compared to other things. I'll give you that. But even still, that's why a lot of times within these markets, you could say, well, what should have a lot of markets done in an inflationary world like this? A world where back in here, when you went to a fast food restaurant, you were hoping to get, and you should have been able to, and I was barely alive, so I'm only trying to guess what the number was on my head from history, that if you were to try and buy a fast food meal, and I'm dealing with living in Canada and U.S. prices being a little different, but a couple bucks maybe, if even that. And then throughout the end of the 80s into the 90s, you're getting a fast food meal for around $5. If even like $4. Now we're well breaking 10. So price action of things. How many things are 10 times higher in price in the last 40 years? Silver is not one of them. In fact, if silver was 40 times higher from this low, it would be over $50. So I believe these prices are extremely, extremely undervalued, which is why I've used the two examples. If I can put anything in a safe, like that of gold and silver versus anything else for like 5-10 years or whatnot, this is the only thing I know is going to be guaranteed in my book to at least pretty much maintain its value, but I'm fully expecting it to gain in value. And then the second aspect is I think silver under $100 is a deal. Of course, when I say that, I mean as long as price action stays to the point where fair prices are under $100, it's a good deal. And right now, it most certainly is. Because with price action at 26, you're easily getting it for 30 or so. And that's 3 times lower. You get 3 of them. 3 pieces of silver, 3 ounces for 100. So in that, silver breaks resistance, and it's going to eventually, and when it breaks it, it's just gonna be wowzers. I mean, watch out. So you see it breaking it, okay, up to 70. Okay, now it's at the stage where you're buying it for, it's not the greatest of deals anymore, but hey, I still think it's a good buy because I think it's gonna go way up here as well. Maybe I should even be thinking even anywhere 300, 400, 500, but in the short term, I'll say 100. Because there's going to be a time where I'm probably going to be saying, oh, silver's only $500 or only $1,000. That's buy. It's an easy buy. Might sound crazy, but hey, how cheap you want to get Bitcoin at 24,000? I think that's a good price. Remember back when it was 1,000? Yep, it was. You would have been like, yeah, $25,000 cheap, 25 times higher. Okay, whatever. Yeah, well, whatever. As it goes, that is the completion of this video. Thank you for tuning in and have yourself a great day. Bye-bye.